Now we all know what MILF means, right? From American Pie.
Yes.
Is there any saying that ZILF stands for?
It whatever. Hey, it's very open to interpretation. However, it is Zane is a loyal friend.
Oh, okay.
Uh, However, if you want to take it as anything else, I can't stop you.
Hey guys, welcome back to another interview here on Tone and Entertainment. Today on the podcast, we have Zane Valero in the house. How are you doing, Zane?
Man, I am doing great today. How are you?
I'm doing great. Now,
Great, awesome.
I think I need to start off with a question that's very appropriate. You were on an episode of AEW Dark a few months back, where you were
Yes.
on a tag team match with Zack, Clayton. You wrestled the best friends.
Yes.
However, during the commentary, Daddy Magic asked, "Who is this Valero guy?" So who is
Yeah.
so who is Zane Valero?
Well, Zane Valero, he's at the moment, he's just like a kid just really enjoys wrestling. Just trying to get my footing, kind of figure out the wrestling world as it is, and kind of just how to make it in this business. At the moment, that is who I am.
Okay. Now let's talk about the hair. You got the
The
a little
hair,
bit, yeah, it looks like a little bit of
yeah,
pink going on,
I
a little
did
bit of green.
this, or I had my sister do this last night. It's very new. I haven't. So first look is you. So,
I was gonna say
but
I watched a match of yours from this past weekend, and or one that you posted this week, I should say. I'm thinking it
yeah.
was from this week, and I didn't notice the hair. So this is
No, I just did it. It was very just like in the moment. I was like, oh, why not? I think it goes with all my gear that I have, and I've always wanted to dye my hair a little bit. We tried to do it back in like 2020 or 21, and we just didn't know what we were doing. So we like, and it was when I had longer hair, and we did it underneath, and I like gave myself chemical burns or something on underneath. So, but my sister knows what she's doing. She went to school for hair and everything, so she fixed me up, made me look nice.
okay. So you got a professional in there this time to make it
Yes.
happen.
Yeah.
So how do you recover from chemical burns? I've never
Uh
tried.
I don't know. I just left it alone. I think I probably put some Neosporin on there, but no, I was kind of just let it there. Try not to touch it at all. Sweat really hurt it, but no, other than
It,
that, just leave it alone, I guess. I don't know. Usually if I'm ever hurt, I'm just like I'll leave that alone. I'll let it fix itself.
Let the body naturally heal
Yeah.
itself, right? Okay. Now, you mentioned the dyeing the hair around 2020, 2021. That was essentially when you were getting your start was around 2020, if I'm
Yes,
correct.
that is yes. So I had my debut in September. It was September 5th, 2020. Um, so it's definitely 21 because I had dyed it because in case I didn't like it, I was having a hair match and I was set to lose. And so I was just like, might as well go ahead and do it. If I don't like it, no problem. It's getting cut off in a few weeks. Um, so yeah, I think it was around 21. I think it was like August maybe or July. I think July. Yeah.
So were you, the obviously the pandemic came in early 2020. Were you just gearing up to like get your first matches ready to go at that time? And was that like just like a kind of like a knife in the heart, I guess, when everything shut down?
Well, I wasn't even set to debut before COVID had happened. I was still just in the process of like training. I wasn't progressing, I don't think, as fast. And I definitely was still wanting to work on my body before I debuted. But I think just we lost some people during the pandemic. Like, they just stopped wanting to wrestle or just be with us. And so some spots opened up, and my coach did see that I was working out over the pandemic. I got in better shape. Um, and then it was getting close to like that our returning show, and he was like, "Hey, dude, you got to show up, or else like I can't put you on the show." And I was like, "Oh God, I didn't know I was on the show." Yeah, I'll. So I started going again, Um, but no, it was a nice surprise from like out of the pandemic because I didn't have any hopes going into it. I wasn't set to be on anything. So,
What was it like working that very first match? What went through your mind on that day?
well, I was panicking. I actually wasn't panicking until like the show was set up and people are walking in because I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of people. And my entrance was probably a max, maybe a minute. I sped to that ring. I did like my two poses, got in. I was like, I'm good. But I was working with a veteran, like a veteran to me at the time, and he was our first graduate, and he helped me through the entire way. Um, I still think it's an okay match for a new guy, you know. But it was a lot of fun. Yeah, we were doing something. It was something to get him over, but it was really cool because the loss led into me turning heel later that night against Mia Friday. And then we started a feud from there. So that was really cool.
Now, taking your first steps in the ring, has to be an exciting moment in your life. How would
Oh
you
yeah.
say maybe your it's been a very short time. We're talking like less than 2 years essentially. How would you say your confidence has changed in those like 2 years?
Oh man, so much. I just walk straight now. I can hold conversations with people. Um, I don't know. It's just I'm just a different person from wrestling. It's really changed me all around. It's the best thing that's happened to me for sure, like
Now,
hands down.
right, okay. Now, in a short time also, you also had something called the Valero Vision show up.
Oh yeah.
I could only find one episode. Was there only one episode of that?
There was only one episode. Is it the one from my channel?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
You were the guest of your own show.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So I am real bad about getting people to record my stuff. I hate bothering people, so I lack that. But no, we've had a few episodes of Valero Vision, not crazy amount, maybe three, maybe. But just I do have the charisma. This, according to my coach, he was just like, "Dude, you have the charisma. I think you can definitely do it." And it was, I think, I just wasn't set to have a match that show because I was going into fighting for the title, and I was like, "Man, that's really upsetting." And he was just like, "Instead of cutting a promo, like do something, right?" And so I bought like that pink suit, the shoes. I went all out for it, and so I still have it. And I know like I've had to like ring announce a few times, so I'll wear that. It was, but no, it was a lot of fun because I just got to be goofy, and I love being goofy and just making people laugh. So that whole like what is it, like show was really really fun. I enjoy doing it anytime that I can.
Is Valero Vision something you would like to like build upon and continue with?
At some point, yes. At the moment, it's kind of just throw it in here and there just to fill up some spots, continue some things.
Okay, because I think there's certain guys because I remember like back in the day, like wrestlers had their own little segments, like Jake the
Yeah,
Snake had one, and Rowdy Piper had one, and I know DMD had one at one point too, which I thought was a lot of fun. Like I think there's still room in wrestling for like a
there
wrestler to have their own segment, right?
there definitely is, and it's something I need to take advantage of, like having my own type of like own little theme in it. I do. If you've kept up with Lions Pride Sports in general, we do have Den Wars, and that's kind of like our what is it? It's like it's a bi-weekly show that we do leading up to our main shows. And I just recently held like a Valero Vision through the whole thing where I was like the guest host.
Now, speaking of Lion Pride Sports, when you got that championship, you were greeted by a legend essentially
Yes.
in
Oh
in
my
in,
gosh,
in
yeah.
in this wrestling industry with Mark Henry. How cool was that?
I had no idea that was happening.
Oh, you had
Now
no
I
idea that was happening at all.
so I knew he was there, and I knew he was helping us out with that, and I knew that in the beginning he was going to be talking with the people. That's when Outlaw comes out, shoots him off. I had no idea he was going to be there at the end though. And so I win, boom, I'm celebrating. I think I'm selling in the corner or something. And I get up and he's in the ring. I'm like, oh my gosh, so much stuff was going through. Like because he was wrestling whenever I started. I started watching about, I think 2013, I believe, in April. And he was still wrestling somewhat regularly then. So it was really like just seeing him up close was like, he's real. Like it was really cool. Just it made the moment even better.
Now you talked earlier about getting into shape and working out and being prepared for your first match. Now you've had quite the fitness journey that's led you into becoming a personal trainer as well too.
Yes, yeah, and that alone was really cool. So it was kind of a cheat. So I joined in May of 2019, and I was like 215 pounds, pretty overweight for like my age and all that. And then I'd say 2 weeks into training, I got sick with pneumonia, and I couldn't eat anything. And when I came back, I was like 180 or 190. So I lost a little bit of pound from the sickness. But then Houston also, our coach, really drives in like body is a big part of it in dieting. So from then on, I'd work out at least 6 times a week. And then leading up to that Fight Team Night show where I won the title, I had started fasting and really just getting in like just eating cleaner. And that's probably like the best shape I've been in, like lean wise, muscle formation and everything. Yeah, no, and it's again, wrestling has helped me with my body and confidence in that. So
As a personal trainer, what are some of the biggest gratifications you get of working with your clients?
I enjoy helping them out and seeing their progress. So I don't have like many clients. I have my one friend from high school, and I've just known her. She wants to like get bigger. So that's really cool. It's something that I want to do, so I understand like how to help her in that sense. And so it's nice, like it's really cool seeing like her muscles form now, and like just seeing like her arms are a bit bigger. I'm like, that's really cool that I'm helping her be able to do that. She doesn't know what to do otherwise, and so it's really nice.
Who are some of your inspirations growing up as to become a professional wrestler?
So number one was Daniel Bryan. He is the main Bryan Danielson. He's the main reason I even want to be a wrestler. The whole Yes movement, him going into WrestleMania and winning the title, that was what sold me on it. So definitely him. Shawn Michaels, I love Shawn. I never
Obviously,
even like
I mean, you do a
yeah,
lot of super kick stuff.
no,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah, I love yeah. No, Shawn, Dolph Ziggler too, love him. Those are probably the main three, honestly. And then Seth, whenever he started doing stuff on his own, those are the main four. That just whatever they were doing, I loved it.
what
And
did your
then
what did your family think when you said that you were going to begin this professional wrestling journey and try to turn it into a career?
so they were all very supportive, although I don't know if it was like oh maybe he'll grow out of it. So they were just being supportive at the time. I know some of them for sure were just like go all in on it. They like my grandma paid for me to train, so they were very adamant on it. Like if it was something I really wanted to do, they wanted to support me all the way. So a lot of them were definitely for me doing it. I think it was a few months ago, and I was talking to an uncle, and it was right after the AEW thing. He's like, "Hey, I'm glad you ended up sticking with it. Turns out it's not like a waste of time." I was like, "All right, I guess you weren't huge on it."
And what about grandma? Like, what does she think? She's the one that essentially invested in this.
So she thinks it's really cool that I do it. She of course doesn't like watching because she doesn't like seeing me get hurt, but she supports me all the way through. She makes sure to get my shirts to just keep updated on what's going on. She asks about my weekend every time just to know how the shows went, if I had good matches, how I sold merch, all the things. She's great.
Like, I can understand her not wanting to come to like the live shows because you never know what's going to happen. But will she at least watch like recorded shows on YouTube and stuff like that, or she just doesn't want to see
Oof.
her
She doesn't like seeing
little?
me get hurt whatsoever. I've shown her a few because I was like, I really want you to see this. But she's not super huge on it. It's also just like not her thing. So I get that.
Okay, well, while you're training, you got so much going on with the wrestling thing. Like, do you have any free time to like relax and have fun? And if you do, what are some of the things you're doing for fun?
So not too much. So I work at our family restaurant top of the hill, and I work from there from 9 to 4. As soon as I'm done with that, I'll come home, get my pre-workout, get on my meals, go work out at our den, work out there. I'll train some. I'll head back, and I don't like staying up super late just because I know I am gonna have to go to work in the next morning. But the very few free or little free time I do have, I'll either play games. I'm not big into that at the moment. Just I'm kind of tired of it. I've been doing it for years. I've been into watching movies, but I don't know what to watch. Um, so yeah, it's really just between those two. Or I have a girlfriend. I'll go. We hang out a lot as well. So we'll just between those three. It's either girlfriend, movies, or games.
Okay, girlfriend has to be on the first one though. We'll make sure that's
Well, oh,
the
of
first
course,
priority.
girlfriend's number
First
one.
priority,
Yes,
right?
of course.
Now I always wonder, like like obviously I have lots of friends and coworkers and stuff that know I do all the wrestling podcasts and stuff, but they could care less about professional
Mhm.
wrestling and they have their own opinions on it. You, as somebody who actually does professional wrestling, what do people, maybe your peers, not necessarily wrestling peers, but like just work peers or friends, think about the professional wrestling business and what you do?
So, at work, they're all very pretty. They're pretty interested in it. They'll ask about it. They don't go to lots of the shows or anything. I think they probably went to like the title match, that I had. Outside of that though, just like people I grew up with in like high school, they want me to succeed and they are very interested in it whenever like we are talking, but they don't like come to the shows or anything. And yeah, it's just like they don't really care for it. Like it's not their thing, which I understand that. But yeah, everybody's very supportive. I haven't had anybody come up to me just openly not support it. I think I had a teacher one time who I told her like what I wanted to do, and she was like, "Ah, that's not realistic." But that was like as far as it's gone. And but here I am. So
No, well, that's good. Show them up. Like it's always good to
yeah,
show people
exactly.
that says, "Hey, you can't do something, that you're going to do it."
Oh yeah, no, it's nice.
Now, speaking of not doing it, I got to say, you've gotten rid of the bandana, and I'm a huge bandana guy. Will the bandana ever make a comeback?
Oh, it absolutely will. I lost a lot of them. So the debut, I had like six, I think, of each color of the blue and the pink. Had six of each color. And then it was kind of like a last minute thing to turn me heel later. And I was like, oh, then I don't need all these. So I threw them out on my debut. I have one pink one. God knows where it's at. And I used actually I have a bucket actually right over there, just full of bandanas, but they don't all go with gear. I used to wear them all the time, like just to hang out in or whatever. I would definitely bring them back if they. I don't know. It also is just how I'm feeling that night. I like letting the hair flow.
Okay. I always feel like it just keeps the sweat out of your eyes a little bit more than maybe, but
It does, and then I've lost some just in the match. I'm like, oh, there's no point then if they're just gonna fall off. But
okay. Now, when you first came out, you were doing the Gen Z thing.
yes,
That is no more though.
so kind of, I've been wanting to go by the absolute ZILF now. However, not everybody is down for that, and so it is still Gen Z most places,
Okay.
and it's cool. I mean, it's sticks with me. I am Gen Z, so it fits. And
You are
Generation
Zane.
Zane is dope. Yeah, I'm Zane, so
Right.
it's
Now we all know what MILF means, right? From American Pie.
yes.
Is there any saying that ZILF stands for?
It whatever. Hey, it's very open to interpretation. However, it is Zane is a loyal friend.
Oh, okay.
Uh, However, if you want to take it as anything else, I can't stop you.
Right, of course.
But for me, it is Zane is a loyal friend.
Oh, does every wrestler you've gotten in the ring with believe that Zayn is a loyal friend? I've seen
No.
I've seen you pull a few dirty maneuvers out there
Oh
from
yeah.
time to time.
Anytime I can.
Anytime you can. So
Absolutely.
do you just fool people with the ZILF thing and sucker them into,
I try.
okay. At least you're honest. So
Hey,
Zayn
I
is
mean, I don't want to get caught lying. I'll be honest.
right, exactly. I can't blame you. Now you've obviously done several different types of matches, from tag team matches to single matches to some hardcore matches and stuff like that. What is your preference?
I really enjoy good old fashioned tag match. I have just started recently, within the past few months, I've really gotten into tag team wrestling, watching a lot of FTR. Has it done that? FTR Usos. So I love tag wrestling. It's just so interesting, just all the moving parts with it. I love me a good one on one too, but honestly, the simpler the better for me. I don't need all these extreme rules, first blood. I don't need those. I also just don't like getting hurt. So weapons aren't my preferred go-to matches.
Now, what makes the tag team matches for you stand out above, a singles match?
Um, Again, it's really just all the moving parts, and some of my fondest memories are whenever I started. Me and Shimbashi, we were Pretty Boy Rock, and we had just so many tag matches. Like people just needed tag teams at the time, and we had matching gear, and we worked well together. And so, like all of our tag matches were very fun. I don't know if they're great. Looking back, I mean, we're better now than we were then. But I always remember the experience being 99% of the time fun. And so I think that's probably why that probably has a big impact on why I like tag wrestling so much.
Okay. Now let's go back. We started off with the AEW Dark thing. Let's pick
Yes.
that up a little bit. You know, Unfortunately now AEW Dark is gone, which I think kind of
Yes.
sucks because I felt like it gave a lot of guys and girls that are trying to just get their name out there that little like
Just a little bit, just something.
spotlight, right? Like,
Yeah.
what do you feel about AEW Dark being gone altogether, and where do you hope that maybe whether it be WWE, AEW, Impact, what do you hope that they will do to maybe help feature some of the young and upcoming talent like yourself, get noticed a little bit?
Um, so I kind of get not doing the AEW Darks anymore. You could kind of I don't know, I felt like it was just something to throw out there. So I definitely get them not doing that. Again, it's definitely a bummer. I wish they'd still do them just I could get out there more. If WWE wants to have more just matches of guys coming in and getting beat, like what they're doing, I don't know if you're watching Raw at all or if you're caught up, but they have like Indus Share that's like gender the other two. I'm not sure on the names. They're just going out and beating people. I would love to do that. I love getting thrown around. It's very fun. I do think they're kind of doing what they did with AEW Dark. I think they're doing it with Ring of Honor a little bit, like not as heavily, like not like every match, but like maybe like one every now and then, which I still think is very cool.
Yeah, because I was at a recent AEW show down here a couple of weeks ago down in Fort Lauderdale, and after
Mhm.
they had the Ring of Honor, and it was actually a bunch of local guys and girls that were on the
Oh,
show
nice.
as well
Okay.
too. But they taped so much, and it's so hard to keep up because they're like taping Ring of Honor before, then they're taping AEW. You got the Dynamite, then you got the Rampage, and then they're like stay
Yeah.
around till 1 o'clock in the morning for more Ring
Yeah.
of
And then
Honor. And you're like,
Dark Elevation to the moon. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like I wish they would have kept one dark. I felt like having dark and elevation was just too much. Like
yeah.
it was too confusing. I'm like, why am I turning into like two things other than when I want to see certain people on there? Nothing was
Yeah.
really advancing. But it is a bummer because I felt like a lot of guys and girls did get that. There's just that little opportunity to get their name out there and then promote themselves, hopefully to the next level.
I know it helped me a lot. My followers jumped a bit. Plus, just being in that environment was very cool. So I loved it.
What was it like when you got that message to come out and wrestle on AEW Dark? Like, what went through your mind at that time?
So I was told very early on to not. It's gonna sound bad. Like, don't always get your hopes up because things can always fall through. So I wasn't truly excited for it until the week of, or maybe about a week before. And I was like, okay, this is gonna go through. Like, it's just gotta now with it being like this. And I remember the week leading up to it, and then the 2 to 3 hour drive to whichever one it was, Austin or San Antonio, nerve wracking the entire way, both times. But then you're back there, and it's still nerve wracking. You don't really breathe until like you've left because you're like, okay, it's done. Um, but no, I mean, it's just seeing all these people. again, you watch them, and so whenever you see them in person, it's like, whoa, like they're stars. They're all like you're just in awe. Like you want to look at them, but you're like, I don't want to get caught. You don't want to stare at people, but it's just like that's them, you know?
Right. Was there anybody? I mean, you don't have to mention any names if you don't want to, but was there like any starstruck moments that I mean, I know for me doing this, like I meet so many people, but I feel like, I'm sorry, but if Ric Flair walks through the room, like you're obviously gonna be
Oh,
starstruck, right?
yeah. Seeing Chris Jericho was awesome. Again, I've seen him since I was a kid, and seeing Moxley mainly because I didn't know how tall he was. He is tall.
Because he looks
Um,
small. I mean, he looks. I shouldn't say smaller because he'll put me through a barbed wire exploding table.
yeah,
So, but he definitely looks, not as tall
he
as the rest of
no,
the
yeah,
guys,
he's
right?
he's a tall dude though. And then of course, whenever I saw Brian Danielson, that alone was really cool. Just seeing him. I unfortunately did not talk to him at all, but still seeing him was awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Sometimes I ran into Eddie Kingston in the hotel one time. Like
Oh,
it just kind of like ran into him. They were had a show and up in Jacksonville. We were staying up there, and just like I'm like, this dude is like he is like legitimate, like huge. Like he could
no,
like
yeah, it's him too. He was
pound you
big.
down. Yeah, yeah. Now, what are your hopes and dreams, I guess, for your professional wrestling career?
So I, of course, would love to go to WWE, at least be an Intercontinental Champion. That's my favorite. That's my favorite title. Maybe not as much now, but I love like the white strap. That's what I grew up with.
Who's your favorite
But
IC champion?
Dolph Ziggler mainly, just because I loved Dolph Ziggler, Miz, and Zack Ryder because I think they all looked great with it. Like you could put it on him whenever. Maybe not Zack Ryder. I just saw him with it once. I was like, he looks good with it. So I'm gonna take him out for everything I'm about to say after. But Miz and Ziggler, I feel like you could just always put it on them and they would make it something. And so I love that title.
Yeah, I think
Um,
you can tell we come from two different generations because I would say Mr. Perfect and Bret Hart, like that's what I grew up
oh,
with. I
okay.
thought those guys really exemplified like what the IC title was, at least when I
Yeah.
was probably your age, when you were watching
Yeah.
Ziggler and whatnot. Yeah.
But so yeah, mainly I'd love to go to WWE, win the IC title at least once. But honestly, if I could make a living and live like what's the word comfortably with just doing indie wrestling, I would not be opposed to that. Like indie wrestling is very fun. I enjoy it a lot. So I wouldn't. I think wherever I'm being taken on this journey of life and wrestling, I will be happy with my outcome. I'd like to believe.
Is making a living doing indie wrestling like a legitimate like is it something that you can legitimately do out there?
I yes,
Yeah.
I know some people who do it already, and I think it's really just about getting your name up there to where you're able to you're the draw, like you're the reason people want to go. That alone is enough on its own. And the heck, not that I wouldn't take the opportunity. I'd take Impact. It's not my favorite company. I'd take Impact though. I'd take an AEW contract. I would definitely wrestle as long as I can wrestle for my living. I will be very happy.
Right, because I do see a lot of indie guys that come down, or people on the indie scene when they come down to different places. Like you can see the lines for like their merch tables be huge, and I'm like,
Yeah.
right. So you can't. I mean, I know the Young Bucks and all those guys were making a great living off of indie
Oh
wrestling
yeah.
before they got signed with AEW. It's crazy because I don't think a lot of people really understand like that in indie wrestling. I guess now with people able to sponsor matches now and stuff like that, I
Hmm.
see and like merch sales and your fee obviously can go up and up and up as you become more of a draw. I guess
Yeah.
you legitimately can make a career out of being an indie wrestler and make it a successful one as well too.
No, exactly. You just gotta hustle.
Well, what's in the future for Zane Valero?
At the man, just wrestling at the moment. Filling up all the weekend dates that I can, going out there, exploring Texas. I'd like to eventually get out of Texas, but at the moment, baby steps. Get
Okay.
out, really just spread my name around Texas, then start going out any chance that I get.
Have you never wrestled outside of the state yet?
The furthest I've wrestled is Arkansas.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I mean, just being in Texas alone, it's bigger than most
No,
than a
yeah,
couple
it
states
is
anyway.
huge.
So we don't have to narrow it down like, oh, you never left Texas. Well, Texas is pretty huge to
Yeah, it's
begin with.
huge.
Yeah. If there's like one place that you wish you could wrestle at, where would it be?
Mm, I would love to wrestle in Canada. I also just really want to go to Canada, so that could be another reason. But I'd love to go wrestle in Canada. Japan, of course, would be amazing just because that's across the world. I, we'll go Canada or Japan. I know those are a bit different, but one of those.
I always love when like the bigger promotions have shows in Canada because you can feel like the energy of the crowd, like
Yeah, no, they always
right.
seem so into it.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things. It's like Japan as well too. It's like maybe because they don't get it as often or whatever. So when it comes to like their territory, I guess just like they're hoping with Wembley Stadium with AEW coming up that like
Yeah, yeah.
it's going to be that surgence of. I think a lot of cities down here take it for granted because we have so much of it. Sometimes it's like, but yeah, you can really feel the energy in Canada. I think that'd be a lot of fun if you went up there and wrestled in Canada.
Oh, if I could, I would. That'd just be so cool. I'd get to visit Canada too, and that's
Right.
another bucket list thing.
Yeah. Is there any specific place in Canada that you wanted to go to?
Oh no, just in general, I'd like to go up to Canada.
Okay. Yeah, because I've only been across like the Niagara Falls part. Like I've only gone like
Oh, okay.
from like across and like been in Canada for that like 2 miles or something like that. I
Woo.
haven't. Yeah, I'm like, hey, Canada. Yeah, there we go. No, Zane, you do have some merch out there as well, so let's definitely talk about that. I've seen the T-shirts on
Yes.
Pro Wrestling Tees, right? Which
Yes, I
say
just got that
ZILF.
set up. Yes, I do got some ZILF shirts. I got the new ones out. I've got my ZILF shirts. I've got the smiley face, and then the those Gen Z Zane Valero shirts. Those are my very first original shirts. That those are there for my debut. I just think it'd be cool to have those right now. And then I have three more that are being worked on at the moment. Very cool. And I'm very excited to announce those whenever they're finally done.
Okay, are those all going to go on Pro Wrestling Tees as well too?
Oh yes, I'm gonna have all my stuff on there. Or I'd like to at least.
Okay, okay. Now, as somebody who goes to a lot of independent shows, like I love going to independent shows. I think they're so much fun. As
Yeah,
a wrestler, and you hear that feel of the crowd, like what does that do to you emotionally, whether you're a good guy or a bad guy? Like when they're really getting into the match, like what is that thought? There has to be some thoughts that go through your head, like when the crowd really gets into it.
it's always just I don't know. I mean satisfying obviously because you're like they enjoy it. They're enjoying what I'm giving them, and it just immediately makes me want to do even better than what I'm already doing. I know like if I'm in the back and I hear it loud, that's always a plus. So I'm like, if they're already hot, that's great. It makes me even more excited to go out than I already am. Because hearing it quiet is such a bummer. I've definitely like I've been in quiet matches before, and that it is a bummer because you're like, oh my god, I just want to be out of here. But no, it impacts me heavily on how the crowd is.
So suggestion is to the fans out there, make a lot of noise.
Make noise, man. Argue with us. We're there for it. Be a part of it. It's so much more fun when you're a part of like the show. Like
I,
I love going to shows and just being in the crowd because it's fun. Like especially when the wrestlers interact back. That's the best part to me.
yeah, I feel it's like it's the one safe place where you can flip somebody off and tell them they suck
Exactly.
and don't have to worry about getting punched back.
No, yeah.
Right? Well, is there any shows, anything else that we should know that you have going on, Zane?
So I believe, let me pull up my shows real quick.
Okay, pull them up. Because you are a busy dude out there with all your
I am.
shows,
I try
right?
and be. So this Saturday at here in Bryan, Texas, it will be at halftime on Highway 21. We will be having our Into the Fire show for Lions Pride Sports, June 3rd. The next week on Thursday, I will be in the Houston Arena for the Texas Contender Series. The Saturday after that, I'll be in Fate, Texas for Christian Wrestling Federation up at the Lordatorium. As of right now, that's what I have for the month of June. And oh, I'm booked on Father's Day as well. Keep with my social media, and you'll know where that is at. I'm not too sure where that one is at either. But
Okay. Well, what is the social media that people should follow?
so Instagram is going to be it's me, Zane Valero, no spaces, no capitals. Facebook is just Zane Valero. Oh, Twitter as well as Instagram, where it's me, Zane Valero.
And the YouTube page as well too.
YouTube, Zane Valero, and I should
Right.
pop up.
Right, it does. Zane Valero Wrestling, and it actually does pop up.
Sweet, awesome.
They made it so nice and easy to find people that we're trying to
Yeah,
discover, right? Well, is there anything else we should know? Because it is Wednesday night, so I got to get ready for wrestling. I'm sure you got to get ready to watch some wrestling.
I got to get ready to go train, man.
Oh, you got to go train. I
Yeah,
get to sit
I
on
got
the
to go work
couch.
out.
You got to go work out. I'm going to sit on the couch and eat potato chips and watch wrestling.
Hey, that sounds nice.
Right?
Other than that, other than those bookings, I might have some podcasts coming up, some other podcasts. I just have to get with them and kind of discuss when that's going to be. But yeah, just follow the socials, and I keep people pretty updated on there. So other than that, I'm good.
You do, and I do appreciate guys like you that are always letting the fans and people that are following know what's going on. Like it drives me a little crazy when I see people that don't promote their matches and their shows, and
Yeah,
I'm like we go to the shows to watch the people we like to wrestle. Like
yeah,
when we see that you're excited, we get excited. So my advice as a fan and somebody that goes to a lot of the shows and does the podcast, keep promoting yourself, because it's what keeps us engaged with you. It keeps us excited,
exactly.
and keep doing your thing, Zane.
Oh, awesome! Thank you, man. I will keep doing it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, Zane, I'm going to let you go get that workout on. I'm going to go grab a beer and eat some chips and watch wrestling right now.
Sweet.
So, guys, if you like interviews like this with Zane Valero, make sure you stay tuned in here to Toned In Entertainment for future videos.
Subscribe to the channel. Do it. Go now. Do it now.